Alright, so planning, connecting, building, laughing, doing, cultivating, remembering, and growing. This is what I want all UFC members to feel like they did at the end of the year. I promise that by the end of my term as VP of Activities, those ing verbs will be indefinitely crossed off the UFC members list. With my experience as an RA planning events and responsibilities as raffles chair for Barrio and VP of Finance this year, I know that I can make 2015 to 2016 an eventful, exciting, and empowering year. 3 E's for me, Raelene, for VP of Activities.
Alright, so I'm EJ, running for VP of Activities. These are things I want to see accomplished. I'm going to shoot them off. I want to see more unity within the club. I want to change the Kuya Ate program to the Kuya Ate experience. And it would be a culminating competition running throughout each quarter. I want to start Spirit Weeks where we all dress up and hang out with class competitions. Bring back the amazing race because we should all move with one mind and one focus.
Only need like 10 seconds. Hi guys, I'm Joseph, and I want to plan out a dope-ass activity for you guys. Thank you.
How will you ensure constant attendance at each event, given that we have such busy schedules? So, in particular, like, for example, we don't see a lot of seniors and juniors coming to UFC meetings nowadays, so how are you going to encourage that?
Definitely working with the PR chair, you know, advertising it around campus, not just having, you know, UFC members there, but other people outside of UFC. Especially getting involved with UW and other Endo FASA members, because I know Endo FASA, they like to invite us to a lot of their events, same with PNI.
Back in high school, I was ASB president, and to run events, the most important thing you could do is communicate effectively and well, especially when it comes to making sure that you have people showing up. It requires you going around at meetings, meeting people, making sure that they know, like, you're endorsing this, and you're not just putting on an event, but you believe in it, and you believe in the people who are going to show up, and as well as making sure all of the officers are in the same loop, not planning things without communicating, because that's the most important thing you can do.
So, kind of similar ideas to EJ. If you're not passionate about what you do, it's very obvious to see that in someone's face when you're trying to tell them about something that you would go to. So one of the things I definitely would want to do is plan something that I would want to go to and want to invite my friends and other people in the club to go to. And in addition to that, I'd also work closely with the PR and the secretary because they have a big database and access to everyone in the club. You know, like mass texting people, becoming really close to people with the other members in the club, making sure that they're aware that this event is happening, and I wouldn't advertise just only on Facebook. I would try going on Instagram or like I said, like texting people. So definitely using social media to my advantage in order to make it know that there is an event that is going on and I want other people to be there.
How do you feel about having an activities canceled to facilitate better activities with organizations? Never mind. How often? How often do you guys plan on having activities throughout the year? Like every week, every month, every 3 weeks, 4?
So, being in the background of UFC this year and holding the executive position, I definitely see that UFC and just SU in general is definitely overplanned, especially in the spring, which is what we all notice. Like every single weekend there's something going on. So personally, if I were to be chosen as VP of Activities for next year, I'd be sure to plan ahead of time, extra ahead of time of activities that I want, and then also front load it. So one of the ideas that I had, instead of probably having a leadership retreat at the end of the school year, have it in the beginning. Because one of the main things that happens in the beginning of the school year is Philo, and then I feel like after Philo we get to know all the other people from other orgs, but we don't really necessarily spend enough time with each other. So that's one of the things that I would want. So like a big activity with all of us in the club at least once a quarter.
I think something that would be cool to see next year, especially since this year was so jam-packed with events like every single week, would be more collaboration between officers and their events. Maybe the cultural chair meshing with the freshman rep next year, or seeing like different events being like merged with other events, and so we have more like spread out, but effectively it's still the same content, it's still the same amount being advertised.
Definitely something to think about when planning activities is resources and knowing what's going on around in the community, especially in Seattle. But for me personally, working with the other cultural clubs, Hui especially, because I know they volunteer with us a lot. Same with Mariana's Taotaos. Yes. And just getting familiar with the other clubs, expanding our club, not just, I mean, I like to say this a lot, but, you know, getting other people, I mean, we have VSA members, again, we have people from the Guam Club here, and just collaborating with their VP of activities, yeah.
We'll have to get one from Pinera real quick.
Oh, man.
Why do you think becoming best friends with Auntie Dorothy Cordova would be beneficial to UFC?
Sorry.
Why do you think becoming best friends with Auntie Dorothy Cordova would be beneficial to UFC?
Auntie Dorothy, I believe, is involved in funds. Yes, yay. Okay, so so actually, I had a first-hand experience volunteering for Fonz this year with Ian and Jason, who you saw snoring, and Will. And I just got to see such a big impact that our presence as students at Seattle U, as like Filipino Americans who grew up here in America, how it affected those who grew up in the Philippines and came here and had so many legal troubles coming here. So that definitely was inspiring to see that firsthand on how my experience and knowledge and about my culture and knowing how to speak Tagalog help other people out in our community. So I mean, yeah. So in working with Auntie Dorothy, I definitely work with a community service chair to make because there's so many things that go on in Fonz that we don't know about and that we don't necessarily like advertise and collaborate with. So definitely I would reach out to Auntie Dorothy, tell her about my experience, and also see what else UFC can do for them, and see if other people from Fonz can come over here and say an experience and work with cultural chair for that as well. So there's my 2 cents about Auntie Dorothy.
At the beginning of the year, I think it was the first event that I helped out with. Gabby hosted volunteering at Fonz, and just being inside the room and seeing just how vast their collection is. I feel like it's so important for all of us to actually get exposed to stuff like that, to learn from our culture and to see elders who serve in just in the Filipino community, and in a greater sense, knowing that they have so many connections, like diverse connections around the nation, to help us get more in touch with our ancestry, and especially to help them out when it comes to making sure that the Filipino name, just continues throughout the years.
To be honest, I actually don't know who she is, but I'm always willing to, expand my horizons and get to know other people, outside of this community. Yes.
So, VP of Activities is one of those positions where basically you have no specific, I guess, aspect to really gear towards. Say like fundraising has money, and community service has obviously community service, but with VP of Activities you can do a lot. How do you want to leave your legacy on the position?
So like in my speech, I mentioned a bunch of like ing types of verbs, and I think one of the best things that we can do, and that we did this year, is definitely, I forgot where they're going. Can you repeat the question?
How would you want to leave your legacy on the position?
Yeah, so I felt definitely empowered as a Filipino American, and we saw that through Barrio, and some people's speeches as we came up here. And definitely that's something that I want the members to feel like once they leave, like not empowered just to be themselves, but empowered to be Filipino American and to have influence culturally within Seattle U and our community and just in your daily lives. So that's one thing that I will definitely stress through different activities that I want to plan out throughout the school year. That's what I want to leave behind.
So get this idea. So we have events with our year's theme and events that go with the Barrio's theme to get everyone excited for upcoming Barrio in March. And so throughout the year we'll have events that kind of go along with the theme that we're going to have, so people just get more excited about it. Because I think it would be important to make sure that we're all leading up to something, especially as an event, or as a position where you just host activities. What can you tie it to? And Barrio is one of the huge things for our club, and so I think it would be cool to tie it to that.
I've said this several times, but getting involved with other, I guess not just cultural clubs, but the other clubs on campus. Because I know we're one big giant company, but I mean, why not expand it? Creating events to get familiar with what other cultures are going through. And creating events outside of our comfort zone. I mean, I know athletic events, we rarely have those occasions, those events. Because I know VSA, they created the kings and queens of the court, and that's something I want to implement with UFC.
And we'll have one last question for that.
What was your favorite event, UFC event, and why?
I wanted to say this when I was up here for Mario co-chairs, but last year we did Mario Hype Night.
This year.
Oh.
Your favorite event this year.
Oh.
Sorry.
Well, it hasn't happened, but the UFC Leadership Retreat, can I like use that?
Yeah.
I mean, to get you guys hyped for the lead out. Can I?
My favorite event that happened this, are you done talking?
I'll go.
Okay, so my favorite event that happened this year was definitely Philo. It was my first time participating. It was a big kickoff to the year, and we were hosting it this year, which made it even more crazy. But I had so much fun just being involved with our club, and it was just so exciting to see all the freshmen involved, and just seeing how you guys have grown throughout the school year. I definitely see how that one particular activity at the very beginning of the school year impacted you guys, and probably inspired you guys to hang out with us here at UFC every other Tuesday, and continue participating in other activities such as a Barrio, and other activities that UFC puts on. So definitely Philo was probably one of my favorite activities that happened this year, thus far.
Okay. Conference. That was definitely, it's always my favorite event to participate in, just because, I mean, we get to see, other than seeing the other orgs, especially this year, it was really nice to see the freshmen, be involved with our club, acclimating themselves to, yes. Damn it.
I think for me, my favorite event, as cliche as it sounds, is it was Barrio this year. I think the moment that I realized, this club is more like a family, is when I was standing in the back of the ballroom and I saw Brennan and Mylan hop up on the top bench. Even though Brennan was hella sick, they were so cute, right? Yeah. But it was in that moment that I realized, this is a family, you take hits, and even if you're feeling down, you show up and you give your all.
Just FYI, Auntie Dorothy was one of the original members of Sinoi Club, now known as United Children. Keep that in your memory.
But thank you.